Okay, today we're going to make another short video about the Yamaha Blaster. This one happens to be a 2004. I took this thing in on trade, I don't know, a week ago, and it was a real mess. It's coming around. When I got it, wasn't running. Just all kinds of things. I could go on all day. But the thing I want to talk about today is this thing was extremely greasy, covered with grease and oil and everything up here in the front end, and the engine, I mean, everything was covered. It's been washed once, but I mean, it's still, just crazy greasy everywhere. Well, it's a two-stroke, so anybody who knows much about these two-strokes knows that they don't carry any engine oil, although they do carry oil in the transmission. So I asked myself, how is there oil all over this thing up here, or grease when there's absolutely no oil? A blow-by tube or anything like that, and there's no oiler tank up here like Polaris have. A lot of times the pre-mixer tank on the Polaris in the front up here will leak and do the same thing, but this doesn't have one. The exhaust pipe wasn't super greasy. A lot of times on these two-strokes, you'll see when they come out of the head, there's a lot of grease and stuff like that. Anyways, also had brake leaks up here, because this one does have hydraulic brakes on the front, because it's the newer model. And then I thought, well, maybe the brake fluid leaked out, and was all over everything over time, and nobody did anything about it. And that wasn't it. It was just too much grease. And then when I was doing my CDI, or not my CDI, but my TORS delete, that's the reason this thing wouldn't run, I found a bunch of grease up under here, and I was wondering what's going on. Well, I found this line right here. There's a line that runs up under here, and it essentially runs in under your voltage regulator, or whatever that's what that is, and your CDI box. That is your transmission or crankcase vent, your transmission vent. Okay, so what happens is every engine's got one, or tranny's got one. They build heat and blow the seals out. This one comes out right here. Okay, and then the line goes up in your wiring harness and stuff, goes across the other side of the frame, and then comes up here, around, and back down under there. It's usually not sticking out like that. It's usually hid up underneath there real low, where you don't even see the end. So, and then I checked the transmission on this. They don't have a dipstick, but a sight glass. And whenever I put fluid in them, I usually just drain them and then fill them with the required amount, which is 650 milliliters. Anyways, what happens is when you overfill the transmission of these, it's trying to vent the heat off, and it pushes the transmission fluid or transmission oil, whatever you're running, through that tube and then up into here. The reason that is run up there so far is so when you're riding wheelies, or a lot of guys will park these standing up on their end to save room. Essentially, going up steep hills, whatever, it doesn't run transmission fluid out of there. That's why it goes up so high and then comes back down. Another reason is your gas tank vent hose, which isn't on here, should go up, pretty high on your handlebars. Anyway, so if you have a blaster that is completely covered with oil and grease, and like I said, we've washed this a couple times already. It was just covered. And it still needs washed a few more times. But if you have a blaster that is covered with oil, grease, all this stuff from the front end to the back, that is most likely what it is. And most likely the cause of that is simply because your transmission has been overfilled with fluid. There's no dipstick there. You do have a sight glass right down there. A lot of them, when they get older, they get so foggy you can't see through them anyway. And with the required amount in there, depending on the way it's sitting, they look clear full anyhow. So anyways, it says on the case how much it's supposed to take right there. 650 centimeters cubed, which is the same as 650 milliliters, which comes out to, I believe, a little bit above a half a quart, maybe a little more. Anyways, that was the case on this thing. So if it's completely greasy, check that tube. I would recommend keeping the routing of the tube the same, just because you never know what kind of water situation you're going to get into, and you don't want any water, dirt, mud, whatever, getting back in there, and you also don't want fluid running out of it when you're riding wheelies. Pretty good little machines, but I'd never seen nothing like that before. So anyways, hopefully that helps.